tongue gritty and thick, hair in the lawn. Feeling so sick, the paddock is vast, cliff is a wall, nothing can last. Waiting to fall, edge of the world, water is gray. The banner is torn, blown far away. Wind is a hand, pushing the chest. Hold to the land, give it a rest. The grass is a crowd, can sleep soft and cold, and it stays here under the rain. Wait for the change, wait for the day. The water runs across the glass, a pattern forms in the grain. We walk inside to find the heat. The air is slow within the wood, and it stays here under the rain. Wait for the change, wait for the day. Cushions smell like stale tea and wool. The carpet has a pattern of flattened piles. Dust melts, drifting through the pale square of the global south-facing window. My feet are cold inside these thick socks, but the effort to move his mouth strange. There is a drum on the boundary fence. He balances in a corrugated precision in his paws. Despite the rust, he knows exactly where the gap is. I watch his tail twitch like a metronome, counting down a Tuesday that won't end. And the afternoon's a long gray stretch between the radiator and the garden gate. I am heavy as a bag of wet sand, watching the world happen in the yard. Watching the world happen. The neighbor's heat pump is rattling again, a rhythmic shudder through the weatherboards. I could get up and check the mail, but there's nothing but circulars for people who used to live here 3 years ago. Names I don't recognize anymore. The cat has reached the cold tree, yellow petals falling on the damp soil. He doesn't look back at the glass, he is busy with the logic of the hunt, while I am busy with the logic of the rug, counting the threads until they blur. And the afternoon's a long gray stretch between the radiator and the garden gate. I am heavy as a bag of wet sand, watching the world happen in the yard. Maybe the sun will hit the hallway, maybe the light will turn to copper, but it's just the same flat silver, the same Dunedin seal and press, pushing down on the top of my head. And the afternoon's a long gray stretch between the radiator and the garden gate. I am heavy as a bag of wet sand, watching the world happen in the yard. Ginger Tom is gone now, sky's a bruise of violet, lamolin heavy on the rack. Wait for the kettle to whistle back. Whistle back. The mood on your boots is ◧𗪙, a souvenir of the Timberlane. Creosote in the southern gale, the logic of the weather is frail. Steam on the glass in the vestibule, the condensation of the golden rule. Your swan tree is a sudden weight, leaning against the garden gate. Oh, it's a maritime melancholy, watching the moisture crawl. The wood smoke is a heavy history in the entry by the wall. It's a tectonic kind of memory, a soft focus on the fall. Theology of a damp Tuesday, nothing left for the heart to say. We map the house by the drafty spots, tying our scarves in nautical knots. Geometry of the iron roof is the only kind of solid proof. I reckon the rain is a diplomat, settling a debt just like that. The smell of the hearth from the grey will, the pull of the tide is a constant pull. Staring out of the harbour light before the fading of the white. Oh, it's a maritime melancholy, watching the moisture crawl. The wood smoke is a heavy history in the entry by the wall. It's a tectonic kind of metaphor. The buzz on Dundas Street is late, we're resigned to a dampish fate. Town of tragedy, just above everything that we once were. Oh, it's a maritime melancholy, watching the moisture crawl. The wood smoke is a heavy history in the entry by the wall. It's a tectonic kind of memory, a soft focus on, just a soft focus, just a soft focus on the tussock and the rain, just a soft focus in the vestibule. The map is flat on the kitchen wood, creased where the towns used to be. Cutting through the green and the mud, it looks easy to just drive away. The ocean is a solid block of blue, but outside the glass is just the blur, a heavy wash of moving gray. The symbols say there's something here. South-facing windows, looking for the coast. South-facing windows, watching the smoke. My boots are sitting by the door, holding on to the gravel from the drive. Wait for the day to get thin, the heater makes a clicking sound. The petrol station is a mile away, close since the middle of the week, that nobody bothers to break. Old man Miller moved his sheet. South-facing windows, looking for the coast. South-facing windows, watching the smoke. It's a long way to the top of the map, a long way to the noise and the heat. I'm tracing the line with a dirty thumb, while the rain turns into sleep. South-facing windows, looking for the coast. South-facing windows, watching the smoke.
holes inside our woolen socks. Our garden's grown a little wild, the fence is leaning to the side. But ever since I was a child, I waited for a lucky tide. I stepped out on the wooden step, the ocean sitting on the mat. It's a secret that the garden kept inside our little rental flat. The driveway's gone and turned to foam, the street is just a memory. The only path back to our home is swimming through the celery. Fish in the grass, swimming in the swing, the green. High tide, coming through the door. We don't need the ground, no. The kettle on the stove, forget the bills inside the drawer. We found a little secret cove right across the kitchen floor. Pull your gumboots from the rack and leave your worries on the shelf. There is no use in looking back, go on and see it for yourself. Blue car dancing by the hedge, snapper in the flower bed, right up to the window ledge. Everything is blue and red, the lawn is like a heavy quilt of salt and silt and summer air. The world is tilting on its tilt and we don't even really care. Fish in the grass, swimming in the swing, the green. High tide, coming through the door. We don't need the ground no running north through the lead-based history of this rental. 12 months of hosting the loud and the bored has left the floorboards warped and sticky. Cataloging the damage in my head is a bureaucratic inventory of exhaustion. Just leave, just leave. Side-facing windows never see the sun, they just collect the damp and the rain. The air of the open door is dismantled. The hospitality is being prosecuted and hung. Everything is ending in the parade. I'm watching the conversation roll down the glass, a slow motion race between two drops of salt. You're explaining your theory on local politics while I calculate the cost of a locksmith. The air in here is heavy and recycled. It smells like damp wool and stale beer. Silence is a physical weight I'm left in. I've memorized the pattern of the rock where the moisture meets the frame. It's a map of every argument we've hosted, every drink spilled on the intellectual carpet. Your coat is still draped across the chair, looking like a witness who won't testify. These side-facing windows never see the sun, they just collect the damp and the grain. The era of the open door is dismantled. The hospitality is being prosecuted and hung. Everything is ending in the periphery. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get the leases up on my politeness. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get the sash is stuck, the wind is rising. Get out, get out, get out, cold right then. That's it. Shut. Done.
Hasn't lived here since June, stuck between the floorboards and a dusty pair of boots. The handlebars are catching on my jumper as I pass. Wet wool and iron, smelling like the grass. Watching it pile up, moving in a circle in the back of the house. Flattened boxes by the door, waiting for the bin. If I don't move them now, the damp is coming in. The number from the sticker on the wall. I'm standing in the kitchen, I don't feel like much at all. I'm just watching it pile up, moving in a circle in the back of the house. Face the south, but the light is always grey, treading over plastic, throwing time away. I'm just watching it pile up, moving in a circle in the back of the house. Someone else's name. Just a pile of mail. Someone else's name. Afternoon is leaning hard across the fence and through the yard. It hits the glass and spills inside. There's nowhere for the marks to hide. I reckon that the rug has turned a shade of pale from being burned. I noticed it on Tuesday night when everything felt far too bright. The pattern on the sofa arm has lost its shape and lost its charm. It happens slow and then it's done. The steady pressure of the sun. The south-facing windows, the light is getting in, bleaching out the colors where the memories have been. Sitting in the wicker chair with dust motes dancing in your hair, your cardigan is looking thin. The way the winter settled in, we didn't notice things would fade while sitting in the lack of try to move the heavy frame, but everything still looks the same. A darker patch upon the wall, where photos used to hang and fall. The outline of a life we had before the brightness made it sad. Through the south-facing windows, the light is getting in, bleaching out the colors where the memories have been. Not a sudden sort of break, just a weight we couldn't take.
flickers at the seams. Through the south-facing window, the light is getting in, bleaching out the colors where the memories have been. It's getting just a bit of a wash where they've been, just a bit of a fade. It's getting in the south-facing light. The solitaire eats the hinges off the door. The window panes are shaking in the gale. I watch the clouds move fast across the floor and wonder if the wood is getting frail. We keep the curtains closed against the light to keep the winter from the kitchen chair. I saw the godwits gathering on the sand. They don't need paper or a heavy stamp. They leave the heavy clay of this old land without a torch or a kerosene lamp. They follow lines I cannot see at all while I am tracing cracks along the wall. Oh, the Southern Cross is burning in the sky, mapping out the way the lucky ones can fly. No borders in the blue and no one else of mine, while we are anchored to the dirt until we die. The shops are boarded up along the quay. The rusted swings are swinging in the park. It's quiet enough to hear the rising sea calling out to us within the dark. Small towns have a way of holding breath, like a secret kept until the very end. I feel the feathers growing in my mind, a restless spirit underneath the skin, but I am of the slow and heavy kind, waiting for the summer to begin. The hills are steep and the water is deep, and some promises are hard to keep. Oh, the Southern Cross is burning in the sky, mapping out the way the lucky ones can fly. No borders in the blue and no one else alive, while we are anchored to the dirt until we die. Anchored to the dirt. Dig a hole to set a sail. The iron nails are getting pale. The current pulls the anchor chain. The clouds are heavy with the rain. I'm looking south until I go blind, leaving all the heavy things behind. Oh, the Southern Cross is burning in the sky, mapping out the way the lucky ones can fly. No borders in the blue and no one else alive, while we are anchored to the dirt until we die. Across the warning, the birds are leaving. I'm doing fine. South-facing windows, south-facing windows. The frost hasn't moved since Monday morning, just sitting in the dip by the fence line. Sun's hitting the peaks out west already, but it's staying white down here. I'm wearing my jumper in the kitchen, looking through the glass for a bit of heat. World's moving fast out on the coast road. I can hear the tires on the bitumen. It's a south-facing window. Yeah, the light never hits the floor. Just a cold sort of feeling, staying right where I am. I reckon the moss is winning today, creeping up the side of the old brick. quiet kind of pressure, keeping the world at a distance. I don't need much else anyway, just the hills and the grey. It's a south-facing window, yeah, the light never hits the floor. Just a cold sort of feeling, staying right where I am. South-facing window keeps on staying cold. Yeah, the sun never comes around, it just keeps on rolling, rolling away, just rolling away. Woke up with the missing button, morning air is thick and sudden. I'm standing where I used to stand with a folded paper in my hand. Yellow line is cracked and peeling, got that heavy-headed feeling. I know the face of every stranger, like a silent ghost of a lonely ranger. And I'm waiting, and I'm waiting, and I'm waiting for the train, going nowhere, going nowhere. except for the magpies and the salt in the air. Dust on the window ledge, accumulating since Tuesday. I watched the clouds move south past the corrugated iron of the woolshed roof. Here comes the intercity, 10 minutes behind schedule. White faces behind glass, moving toward a destination. A girl in a red beanie, leaning against the pane. She doesn't look at the hills, she's looking at a light. Or maybe she's asleep. The driver checks his watch, air brakes hiss like a kettle. They don't get off here, nobody ever gets off here, they just pass through. Here comes the intercity, 10 minutes behind schedule. White faces behind glass, moving toward a destination. Petrol fumes and wet gravel, the door stays shut. I'm standing by the bins, holding a flattened box, wishing I was a passenger. Here comes the intercity, 10 minutes behind schedule. White faces behind glass, moving toward a destination. Tail lights fading north, back to the same silence. The magpies in the microcopper, watching the empty road, watching the empty road. Yeah. Botanical gates, iron and green. We walk the path somewhere between. The rain is light, the grass is damp. Walking around without a map. Your sleeve is blue, mine is gray. We let the words all drift away. 4 inches off, a gap so wide, keeping the ghost right by my side. In the garden shade, the heavy weight of a move not made. We keep the pace under heavy sky, watching the ducks floating by. Past the brick of the student flats, someone is yelling in party hats. The bass is thumping through the floor. I stop my feet at the by the door, the linoleum is cold, waiting for the turn. The day is getting old. It reaches the edge by the middle of the sink. It's almost 4 now, a little bit to think. I don't need to see the hands on the wall. It's just where it lands, the way the light will crawl. A hair on the tile, a small piece of blue. I could move the chair, but I stay for you. The dust in the air stops where it stays, falling so soft in a quiet haze. I don't need to see the hands on the wall. It's just where it lands, the way the light will crawl. Nearly there, nearly there, nearly there. I don't need to see the hands on the wall. It's just where it lands, the way the light will crawl. Just the floor, just the light. It's alright. It's Bars of dirt on the sill, green stems standing still, plastic saucer underneath, collecting what we leave. It is a bit of a stretch, whatever it can fetch, from the gray afternoon, ending far too soon. South-facing window glass, watching the seasons pass, leaning for a bit of blue, trying to get through. Dust sits on the leaf, life is quiet and brief. Turn it round every week, progress is quite weak. Watering on a Sunday, forgotten by the Monday. Clouds are hanging low over the peninsula, heavy grey blankets tucked into the hills. Hear the rhythm on the corrugated iron, a steady percussion that never seems to settle. One bead of water finds a crack in the timber, pacing itself to the pulse of the coast. I place the plastic bucket on the floorboards, tapping out a code I almost understand. The air is thick with salt and with smoke, creeping under the door like a silent guest. Woolen socks down from the kitchen tiles, watching the circle ripple in the plastic blue. And the southern lights are hidden by the mist, just a bruise of purple in the evening sky. Coastal chills sinking deep into the bone, waiting for the tide to turn us back to land. Streets outside are slick and vacant now, just the wind rattling the gates in the yard. No more the women in the yellow street lamps. The hills are folded in a long dark sleeve. The harbour is a mirror for the heavy clouds, holding the weight of the water in its mouth. I track the stain as it spreads across the ceiling, tracing the map of a country I don't know. The dampness is a friend that won't leave, staying for the winter in the corner of the room. Everything is softening at the edges, folding into the rhythm of the southern rain. And the southern lights are hidden by the mist, just a bruise of purple in the evening sky. Coastal chills sinking deep into the bone, waiting for the tide to turn us back to land. Heavy, nearly at the brim. One more hour and I'll have to tip it out. Back to the earth where the tussar grows tall, back to the cycle that swallows us all. And the southern lights are hidden by the mist, just a bruise of purple in the evening sky. Coastal chills sinking deep into the bone, waiting for the tide to turn us back to land. Rain is falling, drip, and the wind is calling. Southern light is fading out. plant. I have the map inside my hand. The courier path, a list of names. Outside the glass, the timber frames. The neighbor's yard is looking thin. The curling strips the timber skin. The fence is peeling. I like the feeling. The gray and black. I'm staying here. I'm staying here. Flake by flake, a slow descent. Better than the money spent. You mention titles, you mention pay. I watch the weather turn to grey. Fold the paper, shut the door. I've seen this bit right here before. The wood is splitting, the grain is dry. I watch it move while you ask why. The fence is peeling. I like the feeling. The gray and black. I'm staying here. I'm staying here. Wait, wait, wait. The pain is falling. Wait, wait, wait. The world is calling. Wait, wait, wait. I'm just watching. Wait, wait, wait. I'm just watching. The fence is peeling. I like the feeling. The gray and black. I'm staying here. I'm staying here. Timber skin. Let it fall. Nothing happens. Nothing happens.
Wore that from blue jacket against the Tunane gale. I reckon you were freezing, but you didn't look pale. Standing by the octagon where the pavement turns to grit. We had a plan for April, but we didn't start it. I bought a bag of pot and mix and some seeds from the shop. We talked about a veggie patch, but the rain wouldn't stop. But sitting in the backyard beneath the plastic sheet, the mud is getting thicker underneath our feet. It's the garden we never dug. The seeds left in the shed, just a south-facing window. And the things we never said. Yeah, it's almost something, but it's nothing instead. Stop with that bloke in the corduroy. Looks like he was theory, a real sensitive boy. He was holding your umbrella like he meant it for good. I was hiding in the doorway in my woolly hood. The frost is on the two-sock and the air is biting sharp. We're moving to the North Island in a rental van a car. I'm staying in the valley where the sun barely hits, watching all the window boxes falling into bits. It's the garden we never dug. Seeds left in the shed, just a south-facing window. And the things we never said. Yeah, it's almost something, but it's nothing instead. Maybe if the soil was warmer, maybe if the wind would die, maybe if I wasn't awkward and didn't act so shy. But the season's over now and the ground is far too hard. Just another patch of weeds in a cold backyard. It's the garden we never dug. The seeds left in the shed, just a south-facing window. And the things we never said.